call DCAB or call Roma, which is 22/7 in a spy constant. Into share difference now. The difference is
Yo, Chief for Positive Africa, and then the topic, I know they lost talents, studying abroad, escape or investment, and then able discussing. I seen you know, obeying Dakon and obeying Hojuma. No fast can come so I start with on my history city the your Monday program and sana so sequence start my.
Alright, for yeah, me that's near Queen, no. Ya share TF baby be a share free beer. History, no. Yeah, the befa math kakra. Math for Africans for by how Africans heavily influenced mathematics. Menya ka mekani nyina o twi but me bro for ni twi befra. There was math expressions bi o ha bi amintimi kan twi. In the ancient Africa, and I say ancient
Egypt. Never to Homawana.
Mebaso. Yeah. In the ancient Africa, and I say specifically Kemet, which is present day Egypt. We know that they were able to build the pyramids. Aliens, they see, which is not true. We have the obelisk, Oko DCAB or Oko Roma, or all these major European cultures, no more monuments, they all learn these things from Kemet, which is present day Egypt. Your file be or more friend papyrus. Papyrus near more of like I said test beer yatro near me where I said those titi scroll nibino. Yeah. So we have one which is called the Rhind mathematical papyrus. Let me say maybe a could be far near Imhotep this one is specifically for nipa bia ono so tenasia or the mathematical functions be egu. We have about 84 of these mathematical functions or mathematical problems. But yeah, Africa for transcribe scribe near friend Ames. He did this in the time of the rulership of one of the Egyptian pharaohs and near friend Nidin maybe I might not pronounce it or by a friend. Amen name hat. Yeah, I mean we pronouncing it wrong, but in the year around 1860 BC before Common Era. Then that influenced the construction of Pyramid of Giza. So fast forward, there was a Scottish guy antiques. So that guy's name was Alexander Henry Rhind, R-H-I-N-D. And Otosa book and later it ended up in the British Museum. But in that book we have a lot of mathematical functions. What makes it unique is the fact that those days in the 1600s, the Egyptians had a unique way of understanding fractions. Fractions now, you say be an improper fraction, mixed fraction is saying they knew it at that time. What is very peculiar about it, them understanding how to calculate the area of a circle. Until then, I'm pesa until for but you meet me there to swam and come any budget. Yeah, the area of a circle, no. Yep. So for the area of a circle, yeah, it Yankupon ya admit me course when I say papa name meeting the course pi r squared, right? Which mathematical and theoretical, we can also say that it is pi d squared over 4, where the d is the diameter. Now Egypt for through their empirical understanding of structures and through their intellectual ability, they came down, they didn't have a constant 3.14169, which is 22/7 as pi constant by Archimedes. But then they sat down and thought, say, okay, anytime that we take a circular object, whether it is any object be a circular base piano, let's take 8/9 of the diameter, and then let's square the results. It will give us the area of the circular base or the area of the circle itself. And it will share may in a mature area is equal to 8/9 times d square. No, you are squaring the result, so you get 64, which is a square, and then 9/9, which is 9 square, near 81. And of course, we are representing the diameter by d. Then d square. Now, present day, send MD can so calculate area of a circle, pi r square, which mathematically, so pi d square over 4. Pi times the diameter to the power 2 divided by 4. It will be equivalent to pi r square. Now, we want to determine the constant pi, the value of the constant pi in about maybe 4 decimal places. Until Oshe Egypt 4 DNA, who say 64/81 times d square. We can equate it to modern day formula, no? And as a modern day understanding, which is pi d square over 4. You know how to work out this because we are trying to make pi the constant. So therefore, we will multiply both sides by 4. To multiply both sides by 4, 256 d square divided by 81. Now 4 now pi and as in India, I cancel out no in your pi d square. So again, we are trying to make pi the subject. A person non quite and you say we will get 256 d square over 81 divided by d square because a person pi no it means we need to divide both sides by the d square. Mathematically, if you are dividing this way, you have to reciprocate the divisor, which is d square. No, to reciprocating over 1 over d square, and it will show d square will cancel out d square. Nearby 256/81, and therefore pi will give us 3.1605, which is the Egyptian pi assumption. Or moment kase pi 3.1605, but from that range mathematical papyrus it contains so many mathematical functions, geometry room, algebra room, a whole lot of things that were inside. This constant of 3.1605, so I call it the Egyptian pi assumption. Current day ni akimi this year no so my range, but United is 3.1416 or 3.142. Into share difference now, the difference is just about 0.6% error, and which means it was precise. It was very, very precise, and they were able to use it to do a whole lot of engineering constructions. Satan calculator be anyhow. Satan unique complex math book textbook be out, but from their intuition, they were able to come out with this, and they were able to use it to produce a lot of architectural designs and a lot of complex engineering structures. Nipa be because some person do to form no. Catch and say aliens nebe, but these were not made by aliens. These were made by Egyptians who were very, very, very technical, who were very, very mathematically inclined. So to cut it short, what Archimedes even brought and what the Greeks know, what we even know as the Western modern mathematics, it was highly influenced by these concepts. It is free. There is a PDF version of it. It will walk you through the 84 problems now. Egypt for the chance no mutimi gather together, and then it taught them math. They didn't have to use any calculator. They didn't have to use any textbook, but through their empirical methods and then how they able to understand the world. Last week we talked about the people in Yoruba dealing in base 20, which is the Vegisma. The normal numeration system base 10, and 1 + 1 2 no. But in base 20, 1 + 1 will not be 2. But the Yoruba people, West African people, they were dealing in base 20. But they had that understanding. They understood logarithms and all those things. They may not have textbooks at that time because our culture is very oral, not literal. And until me say, Nasa Oma Oba and so enka ukrum kasa. Nyan signing in the bre umwa one share oban bede ebeshri, so they can become a professor, an engineer, or whatever. But because they lack the foundational identity, which is their language,